The jet wheels hit tarmac at 2:47 a.m. 6 hours early. Nobody knew he was coming. Calder Hale unbuckled before the engine stopped whining. His assistant hadn't texted. Security hadn't scrambled. The hangar sat empty except for one maintenance guy half asleep against a fuel truck. Good. He wanted it this way. The drive from Teterboro to the Hudson estate took 18 minutes. No traffic. No headlights behind him. Just the hum of the Range Rover and the glow of Manhattan across the water, cold and distant like a postcard someone forgot to mail. The house rose against the sky, all glass and steel and money that didn't apologize for itself. From the road it looked perfect. Lights off except for the security strips along the driveway. Everything in its place. He parked in the garage. Killed the engine. Sat there a moment longer than he needed to. Something felt wrong. Not loud wrong. Quiet wrong. Hi friend, before we continue the story, kindly tell us where are you watching from. And hit that subscribe button now for you to get more, and I have something new for you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Thanks. Let's continue. Calder stepped into the mudroom. The floor was cold. Colder than usual. Like the heat had been turned down just enough to notice if you were paying attention. He was always paying attention. The hallway stretched ahead, dim and hollow. A faint chemical smell hung in the air. Sharp. Recent. Bleach maybe. Or something trying to smell like bleach. He moved toward the kitchen. His shoes made no sound on the tile. Then he heard it. A voice. Controlled. Smooth. The kind of voice that made cruelty sound reasonable. You're confused again. Calder stopped. That was his wife. Vivian. Another voice answered. Softer. Older. Shaking just a little. I'm not confused. I was just asking where my things went. Calder's chest tightened. He knew that voice. Etta Bloom. The woman who raised him. Who fed him when there was no food. Who slept on floors so he could have a bed. Who never once called herself his mother because she thought the word was too much to claim. Vivian laughed. Light. Almost friendly. Your things. You mean the boxes cluttering the guest room? Those were never yours, sweetheart. Calder felt his jaw lock. I don't understand, Etta said quietly. Where did they go? A pause. Calculated. Like someone deciding how much patience to perform. We talked about this, Vivian said. You forget sometimes. That's okay. That's why we're here. To help. I'm not forgetting, Etta said. Her voice cracked. I remember everything. Do you? Vivian's tone shifted. Still soft. But colder now. Do you remember wandering into the study yesterday? Touching Calder's files? That's not safe, Etta. Important documents. Confidential materials. I was dusting. You don't dust anymore. Silence. Then fabric shifting. Footsteps. Someone being guided, moved, toward the stairs. Let's get you back downstairs, Vivian said. You don't need to be here. Downstairs. The word landed in Calder's gut like a stone. He stayed in the shadows. Watched his wife lead Etta toward the basement door. Etta didn't resist. Didn't argue. Just followed. Head down. Shoulders curved inward like she was trying to take up less space. Vivian opened the door. Smiled. There you go. Rest now. We'll bring you breakfast in the morning. The door closed. The lock clicked. What just happened? Etta Bloom didn't belong in this world. Not on paper. She didn't show up in the Forbes lists. Didn't attend the galas in Midtown or the private dinners in Tribeca where Calder signed deals worth more than entire neighborhoods. Her hands were scarred from years of work nobody photographed. Her back bent slightly, not from age alone, but from decades of bending to fit rooms that weren't built for her. She'd raised Calder in a two-bedroom apartment in Queens. The kind where the windows rattled every time the F train passed and the heat worked only when winter felt generous. She worked nights. Cleaned offices in Manhattan. Sorted laundry for people who never learned her name. When Calder was 12, she sold the last thing she owned that mattered. A thin gold chain her mother had given her. $38 at the pawn shop on Junction Boulevard. She used it to pay for a computer class at the public library. Calder didn't know until years later. Learn how the world works, she told him that night, folding his rejection letters into neat squares and putting them in a drawer. So it doesn't get to decide things for you. He learned. He built an empire. And when the money came, when the first 10 million hit, then 50, then numbers that stopped meaning anything except power, he went back for her. She didn't ask to live in his house. He insisted. Vivian agreed. At least, she agreed in public. Calder stood in the hallway now, staring at the basement door. He didn't knock. Didn't call out. Just stood there, breathing through the tightness in his chest. Etta had never asked for anything. Not a room. Not a title. Not recognition. She just wanted to stay close. And now someone was taking that away. He pulled out his phone. Opened the security app. Scrolled through the camera feeds. Kitchen, empty. Living room, dark. Driveway, nothing. Basement, disabled. His thumb hovered over the screen. Disabled. Not offline. Not malfunctioning. Turned off. On purpose. Who did that? Morning came slow and wrong. Calder sat in the kitchen, coffee untouched, watching his wife move through the house like nothing had happened. Vivian was perfect. She always was. Hair pulled back in a low knot. Cashmere sweater. Skin glowing from whatever serum cost more than most people's rent. She smiled when she saw him. You're home early. Flight got moved up. You should have texted. Didn't want to wake you. She poured herself tea. Sat across from him. Looked at him the way she always did, like she was cataloging something. Measuring. How was Singapore? Fine. Just fine. Deal closed. She nodded. Sipped her tea. Didn't ask for details. Never did. Calder waited. Then asked. Where's Etta? Vivian didn't flinch. Didn't hesitate. Resting. She usually eats breakfast with me. She's been tired lately, Vivian said smoothly. We've adjusted her routine. Meals in her room. Quieter. Less stimulation. Since when? Last week. Maybe 2. She smiled. Don't worry. She's fine. I'm taking care of everything. Calder set his mug down. I want to see her. Vivian's smile didn't move. But something behind her eyes did. Of course. Later. She's still sleeping. It's 9:30. Calder. Her voice softened. Patient. Like she was explaining something to a child. She's not well. You've been traveling. You don't see the small things. The confusion. The repetition. She asks the same questions. Forgets where she is. Gets agitated. Agitated. Frustrated. With herself. Vivian reached across the table. Touched his hand. It's hard to watch. I know. But we're managing it. I've been handling everything so you don't have to worry. Calder pulled his hand back. What does that mean? Handling everything. Vivian stood. Smoothed her sweater. Picked up her tea. It means I'm making sure she's comfortable. Safe. That's all. She walked toward the hallway. Paused at the door. You trust me, don't you? Calder didn't answer. What is she hiding? The guest room was gone. Not rearranged. Not redecorated. Erased. Calder stood in the doorway, staring at the space where Etta had lived for the past year. The bed was stripped down to the mattress. The dresser drawers removed entirely. The small framed photo she kept on the nightstand, Calder at 16, holding his first college acceptance letter, grinning like the world had just opened, was missing. The walls were blank. The closet empty. He crossed the room. Opened the bathroom. The counter was bare. No toothbrush. No pills. No hand cream she used every night because her skin cracked in the winter. Just the smell of disinfectant. Strong. Too strong. Like someone had scrubbed the place down and wanted to make sure it stayed that way. Calder walked back into the hall. Opened the linen closet. Boxes. Stacked. Labeled. Not in Etta's handwriting. Personal effects, non-essential. Clothing, donation. Documents, review. His hands went cold. He pulled out his phone. Checked the security footage again. Scrolled back 3 days. The cameras in this hallway had been turned off at midnight. Every night. For the past week. Only this floor. Only after dark. He opened the family office app. Requested access to recent legal filings. 3 documents appeared. Medical evaluation. Dated 2 weeks ago. Signed by a doctor Calder had never heard of. Power of attorney amendment. Dated 10 days ago. Witnessed by people he didn't recognize. Trust modification. Dated 6 days ago. Filed in New York County. All of them referenced Etta Bloom. None of them had been discussed with him. Calder's jaw tightened. He texted his attorney. Pull everything filed under Etta Bloom in the last 90 days. Now. The response came fast. On it. We'll have it in an hour. Calder slid the phone into his pocket. Walked downstairs. Found Vivian in the sunroom, flipping through a magazine. He didn't sit. Where is Etta? Vivian looked up. Calm. Unbothered. I told you. Resting. Where? A pause. Downstairs. Why? Vivian set the magazine down. Folded her hands. Because it's quieter. Because she kept wandering at night. Because the stairs aren't safe for someone in her condition. What condition? Calder. Vivian stood. Stepped closer. Lowered her voice. She's declining. You know that. I didn't want to worry you while you were working. But it's time we talked about next steps. Next steps? Vivian nodded. Reached for a folder on the side table. Handed it to him. A brochure. Glossy. Professional. Tasteful. Sunrise Memory Care. Private. Discreet. Out of state. Calder stared at the cover. Then looked at his wife. When did you decide this? Vivian didn't blink. I didn't decide anything. I'm just preparing options. For when the time comes. And when is that? She smiled. Soft. Sad. Soon. What has she already done? Calder didn't confront her. Not yet. That would be emotional. Reactive. And he hadn't survived the world he came from by reacting first. Instead, he watched. He noticed how Etta no longer appeared at breakfast. How her meals were delivered on trays and removed before he could see what she ate. How conversations about her were always framed around concern. Never consent. She tires easily now. She doesn't like visitors. She's more comfortable with structure. Calder asked to see her directly. Vivian smiled. Said of course. But there was always a reason to wait. She's napping. She's not feeling well. Maybe after lunch. Lunch came and went. So did dinner. Finally, Calder stopped asking. He went downstairs himself. The basement had been renovated 2 years ago. Guest suite. Full bath. Separate entrance. It was supposed to be for visitors. For friends staying over after late nights in the city. Now it was something else. The door was locked. Calder knocked. Etta. Silence. He knocked again. It's me. A shuffle. Slow footsteps. Then the lock turned. The door opened. Etta stood there, smaller than he remembered. Thinner. Her hair pulled back in a scarf. Her eyes tired but sharp. She smiled. Calder. Can I come in? She stepped aside. The room was clean. Too clean. The bed made with hospital corners. The dresser empty. A single chair by the window. A tray on the desk with half-eaten food, soup, crackers, water. Nothing personal. Nothing hers. Calder sat on the edge of the bed. How are you? Etta sat in the chair. Folded her hands. I'm all right. Are you? She looked at him. And for just a second, something flickered in her eyes. Not confusion. Fear. Your wife takes good care of things, Etta said quietly. That's not what I asked. Etta glanced toward the door. Then back at him. I don't want to cause trouble. You're not. I don't want you to worry. I'm already worried. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. Soft. Careful. My things are gone. I know. I didn't give them away. I know. I didn't forget where I put them. Calder leaned forward. What else? Etta's hands trembled. She says I'm confused. That I wander. That I need help. Her voice cracked. But I'm not confused, Calder. I remember everything. He reached for her hand. I believe you. Etta looked down. There's paperwork, she whispered. I signed things. I don't remember what they said. She told me it was just updates. Insurance. Safety forms. Calder felt his chest go tight. When? Last week. Maybe before. I don't know. She brings things. I sign. She takes them away. His phone buzzed. A text from his attorney. You need to see this. Now. Calder stood. I'll be right back. Etta grabbed his wrist. Don't tell her I said anything. He looked at her. Why not? Etta's eyes filled. Because I don't know what she'll do if you do. What has Vivian already set in motion? The files arrived at midnight. Calder sat in his home office, door locked, reading through 43 pages of documents his attorney had pulled from county records, private databases, and sealed corporate filings. Medical evaluations claiming cognitive decline. Signed by Dr. Miriam Westbrook, a geriatric psychiatrist Calder had never hired. Never met. Never heard Etta mention. The evaluations described memory loss, confusion, aggression. None of it matched the woman he'd just spoken to downstairs. Power of attorney amendments transferring decision-making authority. Not to Calder. To Vivian. Trust modifications rerouting Etta's inheritance, money Calder had set aside for her years ago, into a restricted account. Managed by a third-party firm. Based in Delaware. He kept reading. Then he found it. An email thread. Forwarded by mistake in a document dump. Subject line, Elder Transition Protocol. The sender, Vivian Hale. The recipients, 5 women. Names he recognized. Wives of men he'd done business with in Boston, Seattle, Miami. Women who sat on charity boards and gave TED Talks about empowerment and legacy. He opened the first message. Update on my situation. Mother-in-law is resistant but manageable. Used the cognitive evaluation template you shared. Worked perfectly. Doctor was cooperative once I explained the privacy concerns. Next step is facility placement. Targeting out of state. Less oversight. Calder's hands went cold. He scrolled down. Another message. Different sender. Same tone. We had success with the trust amendment strategy. Elder didn't understand what she was signing. Attorney didn't ask questions. Make sure you get witnesses who won't remember details later. Another. Reminder, frame everything as care. Never use words like removal or isolation. Use comfort. Safety. Best interest. Documentation is everything. Calder kept scrolling. A shared file appeared. Title, Caretaker Strategies and Language Guide. He opened it. Sections included. How to manage elder resistance. When to escalate concern to medical professionals. Facility recommendations by state. Legal language that protects you. Calder's jaw locked. This wasn't about Etta. This was a system. A network. A playbook. He checked the timestamps. The thread had been active for 8 months. Long before Etta moved into the house. Long before Vivian ever mentioned concern. One message stood out. Sent 3 weeks ago. My case is almost resolved. Transfer scheduled for next month. Once she's placed, the trust funds release. Estimated value, $4.2 million. Will update after finalization. Calder scrolled to see who sent it. Vivian Hale. He sat back. Stared at the screen. Etta wasn't declining. She was being erased. And she wasn't the first. How many others have disappeared? The brochure sat on Calder's desk. Sunrise Memory Care. Private. Discreet. Out of state. He opened it. Glossy images of seniors smiling in sunlit rooms. Descriptions of personalized care, dignity, comfort. He flipped to the back. A handwritten note. Vivian's handwriting. Transfer confirmed for Friday. Transport arranged. Paperwork finalized. She'll be more comfortable there. Friday. 4 days. Calder checked the calendar on his phone. Vivian had scheduled a trip to Boston that morning. A charity event. She'd be gone all day. Convenient. He opened his laptop. Searched for Sunrise Memory Care. The facility existed. Legitimate. Licensed. But the reviews told a different story. Minimal visitation allowed. Family contact restricted for patient stability. No unannounced visits. Translation, once someone went in, they disappeared. He clicked through the facility's board of directors. 3 names stood out. Women from the email thread. This wasn't a care facility. It was a warehouse. Calder stood. Walked to the window. Looked out at the river. His phone buzzed. A text from Vivian. Dinner with the Harringtons tonight. You should come. Important connections. He didn't reply. Another text. Everything okay? He typed back. Fine. Working late. 3 dots appeared. Then stopped. No response. Calder pulled up the security app. Checked the cameras. Vivian was in the bedroom. Packing a suitcase. For Boston. Or somewhere else. He texted his attorney. I need an injunction. Block any transfers, placements, or medical authorizations related to Etta Bloom. Effective immediately. The response came fast. I'll file in the morning. But if paperwork is already signed, it might not hold. Calder typed back. Then we move faster. He walked downstairs. The basement door was still locked. He knocked. Etta. It's me. Footsteps. The lock turned. Etta opened the door. Her eyes were red. What's wrong? Calder asked. She handed him a piece of paper. A transfer form. Signed. Dated. Witnessed. She brought this an hour ago, Etta whispered. Said it was just a formality. That I'd be going somewhere nicer. Quieter. Calder read the document. Sunrise Memory Care. Admission date, Friday, 9 a.m. She said you agreed, Etta said. Her voice cracked. Did you? Calder looked at her. No. Etta's hands shook. Then why does she have this? Calder folded the paper. Put it in his pocket. Because she thought I wouldn't find out in time. What happens if he's too late? Calder didn't sleep that night. He worked. By sunrise, he had everything. Bank records showing the trust modifications. Email threads proving coordination. Medical evaluations with falsified signatures. Facility contracts with kickback clauses. And recordings. Security footage from the house. Audio from cameras Vivian didn't know existed. Conversations where she discussed Etta like a problem to solve. A transaction to close. He compiled it all into a single file. Then he made a call. Not to his attorney. To a journalist. Margaret Chen. Investigative reporter. New York Times. Known for breaking stories about elder abuse in wealthy families. She answered on the second ring. This is Margaret. I have a story for you, Calder said. Who is this? Calder Hale. A pause. The billionaire? Yes. What kind of story? The kind that involves rich women erasing people nobody's looking for. Another pause. I'm listening. Calder sent the file. Read it. Verify it. Publish it. This is your wife. I know. This will destroy her. Good. Margaret was quiet for a moment. Why now? Because I was almost too late. The story went live at noon. Front page. Elite network accused of orchestrating elder abuse and financial exploitation. The article included names. Screenshots. Documents. Within an hour, 3 of the women named had lawyers issuing statements. By evening, 2 had resigned from their board positions. By midnight, the group chat had been deleted. But the internet never forgets. Calder sat in his office, watching the story spread across social media. Hashtags forming. Outrage building. His phone rang. Vivian. He answered. Silence. Then her voice. Tight. Controlled. What did you do? What you should have known I'd do. You don't understand. I understand everything. Calder, listen. No. You listen. His voice was calm. Cold. Etta stays. You leave. Tonight. This is my house. Actually, it's not. Check the deed. It's in my name. Always has been. A long pause. You can't do this. I already did. He hung up. 2 hours later, Vivian's car left the driveway. She didn't come back. The lawsuit started the next day. Criminal investigations the day after that. Calder didn't follow them. He had something more important to do. Will justice actually be served? Hashtag Chapter 10. Etta's new room faced the river. Sunlight poured through the windows every morning. The walls were painted soft yellow. Her favorite color. The dresser held her things, her books, her photos, the gold chain Calder had bought back from the pawn shop in Queens years ago. She sat in a chair by the window, reading to a group of kids from the neighborhood. Every Saturday. Volunteer tutoring. Something she'd always wanted to do but never had space for. Calder watched from the doorway. She looked up. Smiled. You're early. Wanted to check in. I'm fine. Better than fine. He sat on the edge of the bed. I should have noticed sooner. You noticed when it mattered. Still. Etta closed the book. Looked at him. I never wanted your money, Calder. You know that. I know. I just didn't want to disappear. He reached for her hand. You won't. Not ever. She squeezed his fingers. What you did for me, it wasn't just for me, was it? Calder shook his head. There were others. Women like you. Erased because someone decided they were inconvenient. And now? Now people are paying attention. Etta nodded slowly. Good. She opened the book again. The kids leaned in. Calder stood. Walked to the window. Outside, the river moved steady and cold. He thought about power. Real power. Not the kind that built skyscrapers or closed deals. The kind that refused to let people vanish. The kind that remembered names. That was the only power that lasted. Etta's voice filled the room, reading aloud, steady and strong. And for the first time in weeks, the house felt like it had air in it again. If you found this story powerful, don't let it end here. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss another story that inspires, challenges, and opens your eyes to the truth. More stories are coming that you won't want to miss. Hit that button now. See you in the next one.